Hey everyone, it's Aisha Love, founder of Multidimensional You. I am super stoked to be filming this video from a podcast studio in downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma. I thought I'd take it for a spin, the awesome co-working facility I've been using for the better part of the last year, had it finished recently, and it just seemed like a lot of fun. In the interest of neuroplasticity and identity plasticity, this is something that felt really fun to do, and this is what I want to encourage everyone in their pursuits, is to not be locked into just one identity construct and seeing yourself in just one way. Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself, to play around with image. I've talked on this channel before about this concept, but it seems more important than ever before. What I'm being shown right now is the old ruts that we can get into based on this idea of who we think we are. Who we think we are is such a malleable concept. Now, that isn't to say that absolutely before we came in our pre-birth planning, we selected level of attractiveness and form and height and all of that good stuff. It was all designed, those choices to match our soul plan and purpose. There's a reason I gave myself height. I'm 5'11". Here we are in 2024 and it's time. Like, all of my inner guidances, bring it all out now. Everything that you have been accumulating and remembering and integrating and activating and clearing and all of that, bring it out in this incredible loving container and invitation into what really feels like the beginning of a new unity consciousness family, not in the way that we used to do it in, I'm thinking like 16 through 2020. There was a lot of we know and the rest don't, and the muggles and all of that. A lot of what I went through on that mountain in North Carolina was just, frankly, just dropping everything I had been doing and everything I was, and allowing myself to be in the void of not defining myself, not putting things in boxes, allowing, it's almost like the box to be unfolded, right? And not being inside of that so much. I realize it's maybe the next big box. It's like the game of Russian dolls, right? But it's this continuation of this conversation we've been having here for the better part of 2 years, which is when we're so busy being who we think we are not available for the greater truth of who we actually are. And where I am now with that, of course, is it's love, and it always has been. And I recognize that we have human forms and we have families and we have jobs and we have all the stuff. But what would it be like to infuse those expressions with the greatest of all, which is the expansive energy and expression of love? Remember the message I picked up out in the desert outside of Sedona? I was like, what does humanity want to remember at this time? That was in 2019. And it was so clear. Love is our birthright, not fear. But what does that actually mean? It means that we are committed to a lifestyle of, let's call it's a shadow work, right? Being committed to the self-awareness, to see our shadows revealed, our wounded motivation revealed. Let's take it out of the esoteric and theoretical, and let's just bring it down to brass tacks. So for me, I was okay with being out there this much, sometimes a little bit more. And then I lived through certain circumstances. It definitely makes you want to retreat to hermit mode and then reformat. It was all in divine alignment. But it's like really allowing myself to be vulnerable and exposed in ways that, frankly, I'm doing it across multiple dimensions of my life right now. And I have to admit that there are days when I'm like, I am not enjoying this much exposure. I'm not enjoying this much vulnerability. My body is not acclimated to it, right? We often talk in terms of high frequency. We get dizzy, people get sick during meditation events because we're purging, just like you would in high elevation. I'm recognizing in this moment is what comes through is that we're really increasing our ability to handle vulnerability in a way that our culture did not normalize for us. So that's the invitation in this video, is to reflect on the ways in which you may be overly attached to, this is who I am. right? Well, client and I were speaking, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and this reflection in someone in their life of, but I'm sarcastic. That's who I am. It's like, yeah, but do we have to be? And I get it. I love sarcastic humor and snarky. But at a certain point, you have to look at, like, on the scale of violence and aggression, where are we? Now, we've come a long way since the Middle Ages, and people were drawn and quartered and, tortured in public as considered completely acceptable, to now we're unpacking shame and talking about our emotions. This does not make us weak. I know that that's very tempting. I still go there, like, ooh, well, we have to be, you got to be strong. You can't, like, just put everything out on your sleeve. Yeah, but if you have integrated and healed your shame, it can't be weaponized against you. And you can't be motivated through threat of exposure if you're doing the one self-exposing. So that's why this part of the walk is so powerful, is we're really getting down to cleaning out the foundation of fear from our structure and allowing the love that has been there the entire time to come flooding through. It's a beautiful thing. And all of this, again, is being self-revealed. It is not something that you have to go study. I mean, you can, there's facilitation, but ultimately, remember, be your own guru, right? Everything can be self-revealed. The intent, the invitation, is what initiates the inner revelation. Please show me my shadow. I'm ready to see it. I will face it with courage. And this is also a really important part of the journey of human evolution, because when we've been in a state of defending, deflecting, projection, blaming, we are not available to see the ways in which we are, I've said it before, egregious assholes, not out of malice or intent, just out of unconscious motivation. I had a moment this morning where I was revealing to myself all the ways in which I have developed certain attachments based in certain concepts and ideas. And it really helped me realize, wow, that is not where I want to come from. That is not where I want to move out into the world from. So yes, it takes courage, absolutely, because none of us like to see the ways, right, in which we've been acting perhaps not in the greatest of motivations. But it doesn't have to be a big shame hangover. I will tell you, having done this work now for the better part of 2 to 3 years, my ability to navigate vulnerability and integrate shame and heal it, and in some ways tolerate it, but not in like just tolerate it so it's just chronically there, but allow it to move through. Just like when you go to the gym, your muscles develop. So I want to encourage you to engage deeply in this work. It does have a payoff. It isn't just chronically unpleasant or uncomfortable. It will have episodes of that, and it will ebb and flow. But ultimately, well, as one of my mentors would say, right? Doesn't it feel good to be clean? Like just deeper cleaning. And it does. Like I can feel on the other end of a lot of this work, I can feel that my structure feels much more balanced and clean, and there's harmony. And I see it with my clients too. Doing the deep excavation work like this, your structure gets rebuilt and put back together in a much more solid fashion, so that we can, on a very basic human level, create the lives we really want to create here without so much unconscious motivation that ends up sabotaging the very lives we profess we want to live. So I hope you will appreciate this heartfelt invitation into this deeper work, into these deeper reflections, so that we can elevate our human walk here, help evolve the human species through our own multidimensional reclamation project. And this video is a little bit outside of the normal vlog structure that I do on Sundays, mainly because tomorrow is summer solstice, and I will be doing a global meditation event, the kind I used to run, 12 noon New York time. I hope you can join me. The link is below. And I will be announcing the amalgamation of all of my work so far put into a new program that I've been inner directed to roll out. And I have to say, I'm pretty stoked about it. It's been a lot of work, so I've been down in the weeds a little bit, but the more that I, zoom out, the more energy I feel around it and the more excitement I have. So I just want to let you know that that's coming and that it features a lot of support for you on your journey of alchemizing all of this density into higher love so that we can shift the consciousness on planet Earth towards something a little more, peaceful, loving, and unified. And, just perhaps take this civilization into the next octave of its expression. Beyond chronic war, pestilence, disease, poverty, all valid experiences of contrast for a soul. But it's time. It's time for the key change. Wouldn't you agree? I love you all. Leave me a comment below. I love hearing your thoughts, your insights. I love to encourage and support you on your journey. We're all in this together. We're all walking one another home.